Rock Hard Radio 1 presents from New York City, Rock Hard with Jay Conroy.
All right, welcome back to Rock Hard with Jay Conroy on RockHardRadio1.com from New York City. As promised, in studio with us tonight, Little Dipper. We have Tiny on bass. Say hi, Tiny. How you doing, man?
Hi, doing good.
Good. Glad to hear it. Mike, tell me the last name again.
Nagy.
And you are the guitar and vocalist. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then we have DePaz. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, pause is good enough. That's good.
See, I like a guy that's just like, hey, whatever. Close enough, as long as you can, call me.
That's right.
And you're the drummer.
Yes, I am.
All right. Little Dipper, you guys are based out of actually, what is it, Dunellen? Is it North Plainfield?
Dunellen.
Pretty much Dunellen.
All right.
Center of the universe.
The center of the universe, right. Now, for those of you that don't know, because this is a worldwide broadcast, Dunellen is a little tiny town in New Jersey. And it is I don't know if you guys knew this, but it is the only town in the entire country that's named Dunellen.
Really?
That I didn't know.
Yeah. And nobody really seems to know where that name came from. You hear all these myths about where the name came from, but nobody really seems to know. And it's funny because, I'll wear like Dunellen football shirts here and people will go, Dunell.
What is that?
Yeah, like they can't pronounce it and stuff, so. But, all right, definitely real cool band. And we have you guys in here. You guys got a brand new CD out called The Last Broadcast. And you're having a CD release party this coming Saturday. What is the date on that?
The 10th.
May 10th.
May 10th at Roxy and Duke's, which before we hit air, we were talking about that place a little bit. Used to be what, like a Polish
Falcons.
Polish Falcons home. And tell me a little bit about what you were talking about before that. Now it's a rock club, and it actually took you guys, 6 months to get booked there because they were so booked up?
Yeah, they're backed up.
Yeah, the guy does a real great job over there, It was sitting dormant for like 2 years, maybe 3 years after Polish Falcons closed. And, the guy came in and does a great job. Great job.
Yeah, great shows. Everything.
Let's give him some credit. Did this guy buy the place?
No, he leases it.
He leases it. What's his name?
Jim Parks.
Jim Parks. Well, good for Jim. And thank you, Jim, because there's nothing like bringing original music,
He
not
wants it
a
to
lot
be,
of outlets.
He wants it to be good. He wants it to be original. He wants it to be interesting.
Good.
He won't book cover bands. You're never going to hear a cover band there.
Well, good, because you can hear them anywhere, and I'm not going to name bands or name, bars around there, but there's plenty of that going on in that area.
You go anywhere
because,
for that.
as you guys know, I don't have to tell you because I'm from that area, there's a ton of bars with a ton of bands in Dunellen and Middlesex and, Piscataway and
The old Miracle Mile, that's what it's called, baby.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What, the Strippin' 28? Or?
Yeah, when you turned 21, man, in Dunellen years ago, there was, 14 bars probably,
Yeah,
maybe?
you start at one end.
You start at one end and go to the next, man. And
the beauty in that town is you don't have to drive because it's 2 square miles, so you could get drunk.
It's 1 square mile.
Is it one?
It's 1 square
See,
mile.
I was overestimating. You can walk everywhere, so you could just park the car, get drunk, go from bar to bar.
Sure can.
And everything is great,
And have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. I know I have.
Yeah.
We walked home last time we were at Roxy and Duke's.
We had to.
We had to.
You had to, yeah.
We had
And that's
to.
a bit of a walk, but still not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah, that's funny. So the new album is called Last Broadcast. Really good album. Tell me a little bit about, first of all, when did you guys get together? How long has the band been together?
Almost 10
Yeah,
close to 10
close
years.
To 10.
Close to 10 years.
Close to 10 years.
Now, I know this is your latest album. How many albums do you guys have besides this?
We got 1 album before that, 1 full length before that, and a couple little things here, some tracks here and there, and I think we got an EP early on. But these are the 2 full lengths. Brought you another copy of the first one.
All right, cool. I love the logo on there, too.
Excellent. That makes me feel good.
Yeah, no, I like that. Very cool. And I was checking out the website before. Website's looking real good.
Excellent.
Really like it. Really like it. Really like the CD as well, man. It's rocking. There's a lot of good tracks on there. What are some of your musical influences? Where were you guys influenced by? Like when you
Phil
first
Rudd,
started?
AC/DC, man.
Phil Rudd, AC/DC.
Yeah.
I'm loving hearing that.
Yeah.
Did you hear AC/DC is going to forge ahead without Malcolm?
We were talking about that. He's nervous about it.
Yeah.
I am too.
I don't think they could pull it off without Malcolm.
Yeah, because Malcolm, it's Malcolm's band.
Yes.
Yep.
Plain and
It's the
simple.
exact discussion we had,
Yep.
what, a week ago,
Yeah.
maybe?
Yeah.
And when he first got sick, they said, "That's it, we're done," and they had already had the studio time booked in Vancouver, and then all of a sudden they turned around like 2 weeks later and said, "We're going to go ahead." I was quite surprised about that.
Yeah.
We had, I don't know if you guys know the original singer of AC/DC, not Bon Scott. There was a guy called Dave Evans that did 2 tracks with them.
Really?
Can I Sit Next to You, Girl? Okay, which AC/DC went on and re-recorded. One other song which I can't think of right now. And Dave Evans is still out there, and he bills himself as Dave Evans, the original singer of AC/DC. We had him on the show. He's in Australia, and we had him on the show via Skype. And Dave had mentioned that Malcolm was sick. And he's good friends with Malcolm's son, which I find interesting because AC/DC threw this guy out of the band like years ago. But he's friends with Malcolm's son. He mentioned Malcolm was sick, and I'm like, this is not my place. I'm not, let it just go by.
Yeah.
I didn't edit it out of the show, but I certainly didn't go into it. And then I heard Malcolm was doing better. Then I heard about the stroke, and I said, wow, really sad, really bad news. So, I guess we're on the same page about,
Absolutely.
where
I don't think they can pull it off.
it's a tough call because, on one hand, I was behind them when they were like, no, we're not going to do it. And then I heard they were going in. I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. It certainly doesn't look like Malcolm is going to.
No, it doesn't.
No, I
No.
don't think he's pulling it off.
No, I mean, I've heard a lot of stuff. I've heard he doesn't even recognize people and stuff. Like, real sad because I'm a huge AC/DC fan. So, so that's what got you into music,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
huh? Yeah.
Love it.
Great
Love it,
band. Yeah, I hear you. Mike, what about you?
There's so many, but all rock and roll as far as this stuff goes. When we started this band, the idea was to make a rock and roll band, not a, pop rock band or a hard rock band. It was just rock and roll, so there was no holds barred. But I like a lot of classic bands. Sounds cliche, but Zeppelin, the Beatles, I love all that stuff.
Well, sure.
As far as stuff a little more recent that I like, I think like Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah,
is
great
a big
band.
one for me. Great new band.
Yeah.
And I like a lot of 90s rock too.
Mhm.
Soundgarden's a favorite of mine.
Yeah, great
So,
bands.
All things rock and roll, man. I think that's what you're going to get out of all of us.
Yeah.
So,
Tiny, what about you?
Most of the same stuff that Mike likes: Zeppelin, Black Sabbath,
Sabbath's
Blue
a
Oyster
good one.
Cult, Rush, Yes. I like a lot of prog, like Yes and Gentle Giant, and then like '90s stuff like Soundgarden, Clutch.
Yeah, Clutch is hard. I like
Yeah,
Clutch.
I like Clutch a lot.
We all like Clutch.
Yeah.
We go
Did
see
you-
Clutch a couple times
all
a
the
year.
time.
right?
Yeah.
Did
Whenever
you
I can-
guys catch Sabbath on this last tour?
I did. I saw.
Where'd you go?
I went to the Barclay Center.
Okay.
You know.
Oh, so just recently,
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing. They were outstandingly good.
Yeah, I saw them down in Philly in the summer, and I was blown away. I was like, they haven't lost a step.
Nah, not even. Not
First,
even.
first words out of everybody's mouth is, well, what about Ozzy? They're expecting a fucking disaster,
Yeah.
If you saw him, he was in command.
Absolutely.
Had his
Absolutely.
shit together. He had that crowd eating from his hand, and he milked every last
Yep.
Yeah, well, he's
every
good
last
at
bit
it.
of energy out of him.
They were
When
all in
he's
top
on,
form,
he's
and he
on.
was no exception.
No, not at all.
Guy I worked with didn't believe me that he was so good.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't believe me.
Yeah, told me I was
I'm
on.
like, dude, I'm
Yeah.
telling you right now, he fucking rocked. He wasn't stupid. He wasn't falling all over the place.
Nah, and his voice
You know?
sounded great from the first song all the way to the last
Yeah,
song.
yeah. It was
No doubt
cool.
about it.
What I found interesting, I saw them at whatever it is, Wells Fargo in Philadelphia, and completely fucking sold out. And I think that place holds like 30,000 people. And what cracked me up, it was like 90% dudes. And the only chicks that were there were like chicks that were with their boyfriends.
dudes.
Like you didn't see like
no.
three or
When I
four
saw
chicks
them,
together.
When I saw him at the Barclays, there was a lot of women. It was a much more balanced crowd.
Really?
Yeah. There was two that were together. They were standing right in front of us. They wouldn't sit down the whole time. Guy I was with was getting all upset. It's like, man, I didn't pay all this money to come to this concert to look at these chicks' asses. So.
Well, wait a minute. Number one, there's nothing wrong with looking at chicks' asses if
No.
they're nice.
Absolutely.
Number two, you're at a fucking concert.
I know,
It's
get off the
Sabbath.
seat.
Get up.
Yeah, get up.
If you're going to see James Taylor or something like that, I
Different
could
situation.
understand.
Yeah.
Right. You could see, So, all right, I want to get to some of your music. I want to start off with the lead-off track, a song called Armor, which I really like. So let's give that a spin. Once again, we are in the studio with Little Dipper on Rock Hard with Jay Conroy on rockhardradio1.com from New York fucking City. Check this out.
You're face to face with what once was an ordinary crime, a strain of lies. If you can't change but only compromise, then you're wasting someone's time, the one and only chance you'll find, or stand in line. Your armor covers what it should, but your underbelly shines a space this size. When he turns round, the hole that you found will bring him to the ground. This is your chance to make things right. While you're coming out, lay your shovels down. If you can change the source of compromise, then you're wasting no one's time. Now your proof is found.
All right, Armor, cool lead-off track. What can you guys tell me about that? First of all, why was that picked as the lead-off track?
When we wrote that track, that was kind of my idea as the lead-off track from the beginning. But it was a weird choice for the lead-off track, really, because it's a quick, short tune, and there's really kind of no hook. It's one of the interesting things about it as far as a vocal hook goes. It's kind of straight through, but for some reason, I just felt that should be the opening track. There's something about it. It's got this kind of just like this throbbing pulse to it that I thought made a great catch. But there's no point we really one time we say Armor. It's not like a big hook. We say Armor over and over again. Nothing like that.
So when you were laying out, first of all, you got 11 songs on this album, which I like because so many bands nowadays put way too many tracks and it's all filler.
Started with 20.
That was my next question.
We
So you
started with 20.
with 20.
Yep.
And how hard was it to narrow it down to the 11 tracks?
Some were easy because they either didn't work out or wasn't quite working, didn't sound quite good, and some it was just, I mean, we had two, Theme and Compromise, that up until the last minute we just decided they can't go on there, they don't really fit, and we wanted to set on making an album. All of us are into albums. You know, we're not really into singles. I know that's what everybody's into these days, but we're into albums. I grew up with albums. It was always about the album cover and buying the album.
Exactly.
I bought albums because the cover was cool, you know? And I listened to the whole thing. I want to listen to the whole album front to back and enjoy it.
Yep. When you sit down, it was a what I want to say. It was just you sat down and you listened and you looked at every part of it, and that's what we're all about.
It was an experience.
You know, it was experience of sitting there listening to it by yourself, and then you turn a friend on, and that's what it is.
Yeah,
no
didn't
singles.
need a TV. Didn't need a TV. Just sit and listen. Look at
And
the
wasn't
stereo.
that the beauty of it? Bands I bring in here that are not 21 years old, which none of us are, all say the same thing. It's like, and kids today don't get it. It's like, it was such a big thing, man. When you went to the record store and you had that fucking album and you open it up and you had the credits on there and, you know, you pull out the sleeve, you know what I mean? And you could clean your weed on it back in the day when weed had seeds in there, you know. But, and you know, even when they came out with the CDs, I was like, oh man, everything's
Too small,
smaller,
yeah.
it's a little bit tougher, you know. So I love hearing that because I'm the same way. And, you know, I think it's just the way the world is. People just don't have the attention span that they used to.
Kids and people now, they don't even know who's playing the music that they're
No.
listening to.
They
No.
don't
Who's
like
in the
music.
band.
No.
Yeah,
They don't like music, you know. It's
crazy.
It's unbelievable.
it's crazy.
And you know that's why the record business is in the shape it's in. And again, I agree with you guys. I used to love that. Bring it home. You know, you weren't bombarded with where you could buy like 20 singles and you're all over the place. I mean, you pretty much bought one or two albums and that was it.
You gave it a shot. Yeah.
Right. You know, that's really like all
Well,
you
you
could
had
afford.
to roll the dice.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's true,
A
too.
lot of times you had to roll the dice.
Right.
Man, you know, is it gonna be good or not? You know.
Yeah,
And
you're
then-
absolutely
and
right.
then
There was
you
no
went-
way to preview it.
Nope. And then you went back to the record store. If you didn't like it a couple weeks later, you sell it. You bought it for $11. You sold it for $2, and you tried
Yeah.
to get another one. You know.
And it had like, you know, even when CDs came out, it messed me up because, you know, on albums I could be like, oh, that was the third song on side one. And then as
Yeah,
soon as CDs came out, I'm like, I don't know, it was track 7, you know what I mean? But that was the beauty of it is you know, putting that on and listening to the, you know, to the first side of it and then turning it over, listening to the other side of it. You know, it basically had a theme, and I'm not talking about a concept album, but just, you know, a theme
There's
where
a flow
it
to everything.
Yeah.
When you're listening to an
And
album.
the other thing too is you got two 15 or 20-ish minute chunks.
Yeah.
right,
You didn't, as you were saying before, there wasn't 18 songs on it.
right,
You know, there was
because
7 or
on
8
an
or 10.
album you could only fit 45 minutes worth of music.
Yeah, if
That's
that,
all you
yeah.
could
If
fit.
that, yeah.
Then the CD came out, you could fit 70 minutes. So bands are like, oh, we got to put 14 songs on
Yeah.
there, and a lot of it was
Even if
filler.
it doesn't fit in
filler.
there, it has nothing to do with what's going on. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. People just stuff it on there. you
Like
know?
Yeah.
the 78-minute capacity is great for like a greatest hits CD.
Yeah.
And you know, granted, in the 70s there were double albums, but a lot of times they were live albums or concept albums. You
Yeah.
know, they made sense. You know, like Zeppelin putting out Physical Graffiti. You know, Skinner's One More from the Road. You know, Frampton Comes Alive. I mean, I'm talking just like big ones from, you know, the 70s.
Or even And Justice for All's vinyl release was a double
Yeah.
record.
Yeah.
And that,
You know?
that was a concept album.
Yeah, and it was the beauty of, again, you know, looking at the artwork and reading the credits and who played on
Absolutely.
what and, you know, all the thank yous and all that stuff. I mean, I would just comb through that stuff like crazy,
Oh, yeah.
you know? If I had to ask you, starting with you, Mike, what is your favorite album of all time? Do you have one?
I would have to think about it.
Okay.
Give me a minute.
Tiny, you got one off the top of your head?
That's a hard
That is a hard
question.
question. Can we
That's
get,
a hard question, but if you held a gun to my head and need an answer right now, I'd probably
Well, I don't
say-
have a gun.
Well, but
we
if you
just start
did,
naming some?
I like Led Zeppelin 2 maybe.
It's
Uh-huh.
a great one.
Is an awesome one, yeah. I also like, I don't know, I could sit here all day and rattle off stuff.
Paz, what about you?
Powerage from AC/DC.
Dude,
It's a great
hot
one.
That's my favorite AC/DC album.
Kick in the teeth again, baby.
Right?
Man. It makes
Riff
me want
Raff.
to run through the walls.
Hands down, that is my favorite AC/DC album, man.
No doubt
Love that.
about it.
Powerage,
that's a great
you know, starts off with Help Me. Sitting in my Cadillac.
Oh,
Listen
Down
to-
Payment Blues.
Down Payment Blues,
Yeah.
right? Riff Raff is on there.
Riff Raff.
Rock and Roll Damnation.
Yup.
Yeah.
Sin City.
Yup.
Kick in the teeth again.
Love that song.
Yeah. Makes me want to kick somebody in the teeth.
Yeah. That's just a badass. I was
Yeah.
a huge Bon Scott fan.
Me too.
And I was fortunate enough to see AC/DC with Bon Scott about 4 or 5 times.
Me
You
too.
too?
Me too.
Where at?
Yeah, I saw them at the Giant Stadium. It was with Ted Nugent. It was Ted Nugent, AC/DC, and somebody else. It was I think it was 78, and then I went to see the Back in Black at Nassau Coliseum, 1980, with my brothers. My one brother. I sat in the where you put your feet in the car. I laid down there because there were so many people in the car, man.
Yeah,
And
that's what we used to do. Right,
was
pack
about-
everybody in the
yeah.
car, drive into the city. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nassau, and I think it was 79 it was. Yeah, 78 or 79. First concert.
Okay.
First concert.
I saw them. I think the first time I saw them was at the Palladium in
Oh,
New
yeah.
York, the now defunct Palladium. It was AC/DC UFO.
Ooh, what
Yeah.
a
That's
good
a good
one.
one.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
That's a
And
good
then I
one.
kept
Really
going
good.
to see them. I saw their final tour. They were opening for Ted Nugent at Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
And I read an interview after the fact, and Bon Scott said, next year at this time, we'll be headlining here. And then, unfortunately, he died. So I was lucky enough, to catch all those shows. And then you talk about Back in Black. When Back in Black was released, as we all know, that was a huge gamble because to replace Bon Scott, you're like, those are tough shoes,
Very tough, man.
It worked though.
It worked.
It was unbelievable.
But when that tour started, the first place I saw them was the Palladium. So they weren't even playing big arenas yet because it was like basically a whole new thing. And how's this going to work? You could see from this Palladium show, the energy, the vibe, packed to the hilt, and within another month, bam,
Yeah.
they were back in.
Nassau, that's where I saw
Yeah,
them. Nassau
in the
Coliseum.
arenas, and I've seen them a lot. Even with Brian Johnson as well. All right, I want to play another track, and this was the first track that was actually sent to me. It's a song, and I really dig this song, called "Change Starts Today." And I'm going to play this song, and then I have some questions about the song. So let's play this. We're in the studio with Little Dipper on Rock Hard with Jay Conroy on rockhardradio1.com. Going to play this, then we're going to talk to the band about it and get their thoughts about it. Here we go.
Are you sad for no rhyme or reason? A precious mind full of uncertainties. Then take your hands out of your pockets and grab the horns of each bowl you face. Are you read to from moving verses? Complacent lines crossing and airwaves. Then bite the tongue off of the tyrant and spit the lies right back in his face. But if you get sad, 'cause you keep rolling over, change starts today. Change starts today. Another patient observation of your so-called amenities. We'll take a rag full of bleach and ammonia and wipe that smile right off his face. But if you get mad 'cause you keep rolling over, another one and we'll get 4-leaf clover. But if you get sad 'cause you keep rolling over, change starts today. Change starts today. Change starts today. Change starts today.
All right, Change Starts Today by Little Dipper. I love that song. Now, that was the first song that was sent to me. In fact, I want to give some credit to Jeff Warner, who is a friend of all of ours.
Thank you,
And-
Jethro.
Yeah, Jethro, right?
Yeah.
He is like the coolest guy. The whole family, phenomenal family, the Warner family. I love them. There's nothing I will not do for them. And, you know, big thanks to Jeff, because Jeff sent this to me. He said, hey, check this out. I think you're going to like this. So my first question to myself, and now I'm going to ask you, was that meant to be the single off the album?
What we sent it out with that song is, you know, we didn't really pick on a single, but with the way that song was written and how heavy it was and how, you know, kind of like a punch in the face, that we set it out in the beginning as kind of like a promotional song to kind of get people's interest.
Mm-hmm.
And we sent out a bunch of postcards that had the logo for the band on it. And then we sent out to the same people a bunch of postcards that had the logo for the band with a URL under it. And when you went to that website, it just had a player that played that song. That was it. No other information. So we sent that out before we sent anything to anybody. The idea actually came from the guy that runs the label, Damian Gonzalez at Lump and Loaf Records.
Uh-huh.
And he's the one who came up with the idea, and I told him I thought this was the song to do that with. You
Yeah.
know, we got to take this song and make this the one to grab people's attention.
It's definitely an attention grabber. Now, let me ask you a question. Did you have a way of tracking how many people listened to it when you did it?
With that
way?
player, we didn't.
No.
It was just a random player. We didn't want it. We didn't want anything to kind of give away what it was. It's just
Right.
basically a arrow for a play arrow and this big circle with the L and the D in it, and that was it.
But I mean, you never had a. Was there any way for you to track how many listens that it got?
I suppose we could probably take a look, but never even thought of doing it, to tell you
Yeah.
the truth.
Interesting.
I could take a look, let you know.
Now, how do you guys go about writing songs? How does the song writing process go?
Well, Mike comes up with a riff down in the basement.
Now, wait, let me back up a little bit because we're talking about this. This is your basement,
Yes.
okay? And this is where the drummer, it's always at the drummer's house, right? Because
Absolutely.
he's got the most shit to move, so everybody's
That's
got to go to
right.
the drummer's house, right?
Yes.
you were talking about how anything goes down there. You got posters on the wall. What kind of posters you got out of curiosity?
Well, I got Tracy Lords.
I knew he was going to say Tracy Lawrence first.
You know, I'm thinking to myself as it came out of my mouth, I'm like, this is going to go to porno. And I was really like thinking about bands. Like, do you have an AC/DC poster down there? So,
Judas Priest, old Judas Priest with Rob Halford when he had hair. Got the Shaker sign, Shaker Lounge, Denellen.
oh my God.
Got it.
The Shaker.
That's right.
Long gone.
Yes.
Burned down, right?
No.
just
no.
closed.
Which one was the Shaker?
You're
Shaker
thinking
was
of,
all the way down by Plainfield. close
Oh,
to Plainfield.
right. Okay, yeah,
You
just
know?
closed down. It was a strip club.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Quality establishment.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Straight up.
very clean and reputable.
Yes. And just a block away from beautiful suburbia in Denellen, which
Absolutely.
is so funny. So,
Absolutely.
so Mike, you'll come in with a riff, and you'll start playing it, and you'll tell these guys, "Hey, let's work around this, or let's just start jamming, let's just start improvising."
You know, for me, it always starts with one idea, whether it's a lyric or maybe a guitar riff. You know, Change Starts Today started with that first riff. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. And it'll start with one idea, and from there, it just kind of steamrolls. You add more and more to it. And, you know, what's great about playing with these guys is I never have to go down there and be like, oh, what are these guys going to do? They always put something good into it, you know? Makes it easy. I come down and say, hey, here's my idea. Before you know it, it's a song.
Right.
So,
Now, what about vocals? Do you write the vocals, or is that a group effort?
I do the vocals that I sing, and Carlos does the vocals that he sings.
Okay.
And that's basically how we do it. So whoever sings the tune is responsible for the vocals and the lyrics. I think in 10 years, I think there's been one song out of all the songs we've done where we actually split the vocals up. But usually whoever's singing it is the one who wrote the vocals.
That makes sense. Now, the song Change Starts Today, what is that song about?
In a nutshell, man, it's about standing up for yourself. You know, it's about you being mistreated or you don't like the way people are saying, thinking. Stand up for yourself. Now's the time. Seize the opportunity. It's that simple. You know, there's some different things in there, you know, little political overtones, but for the most part, that's all it is.
Okay. Because, you know, just the title alone, I was like, you know, intrigued and was like, I wonder what this is actually, you know, what this is actually about, you know? So,
I was hoping that people would hear the song and it would just, you know, be motivating, you know, make
Yeah.
you want to get up and do what you got to do. But I think some people feel that way, and some people just think it's a little weird. What can I tell you, you know?
yeah, no, I don't think it's weird, man. I think it's got like a great groove to it. And, you know, I was just wondering if there was anything personal behind it, you know, Change Starts Today, you know.
Does it motivate you?
Totally.
And that's
Yeah.
the job it's supposed to do.
Like I said, you know, I can, you know, as you can imagine, you know, we're constantly getting bombarded with songs and bands and listen to this, and a lot of times my it goes through my producer, and you know, there's shit that he will go, I'm not even gonna. He goes, I know you're not gonna like it,
Yeah.
so don't bother. But with me, I can tell a minute in if I'm interested or not. Usually, I got to hear the riff and where it's going, and then I got to hear the singer. And then I know if I'm interested. But usually within a minute into the song, I can go, yeah, I want to hear more of this, or nah, not my kind of thing. You know, so that definitely grabbed me right away. All right, I want to do another track that I really like. I love the title, and I love the song. It's called Can't Shut Up. Before we play it, what was the inspiration behind that song?
Putting your foot in your mouth.
Yeah, which
Bottom
we all
line,
have done
which we've
plenty
all
of time.
done. And the guys here, I can't speak for you, but I know we have a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, please, trust
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
With this mouth and this show, please, all the time. All right, let's play that, man. Can't Shut Up by Little Dipper. Love this song. Check this out.
If you're determined to watch, I should let you know. A new collection of thoughts that I can't let go. But there's just one thing I think you'll find. a step behind. You can't shut up, you're on your own. If you can't shut up, you can all jog on. You can't complain, it's all the same. If you can't shut up, you can all jog on. Mary, Mary, oh how does your garden grow? A pinch of salt on the wounds that I'm sure you'll sow. But there's just one thing I'll understand. The taste of slap at the end of a swinging hand. You can't shut up, you're on your own. If you can't shut up, you can all jog on. You can't complain, it's all the same. If you can't shut up, you can all jog on. Jog on. You can't shut up, you can't shut up, you can't shut up, you can all jog on. You can't complain, it's all the same. If you can't shut up, you can all jog on. You can't shut up, 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 you can't shut up. If you can't shut up, you can all jog on.
All right, can't shut up. Now, during the song, we were talking a little bit, and they say that the boys were telling me here that that Paz is sort of the influence for that song because Michael talked to him on the phone and say, "What'd you say today? Oh, dude, you just can't shut up."
That's absolutely right. Loudmouth.
At least once a week.
Yes.
We go through that.
At least.
Look, I can relate. I say a lot of shit, and I'm like, it's like, what was I thinking, but, I like people that just come straight out.
Well,
You know where you stand.
That's it.
Yeah.
You get what you get, man. And, I tell the truth.
Well, you come off like
Truth
that
hurts.
within 5 minutes of meeting you. I was like, this is a guy that speaks his mind. I can totally tell that.
Sometimes it gets you in trouble.
Yeah, but,
Is what it is.
it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, so once again, this Saturday night at Roxy and Duke's, is that technically Dunellen or is that in Middlesex? That's still Dunellen, right on the border.
Yeah. Right on the border.
Yeah.
Warrenville Road is the border.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And how are tickets available in advance, or are they just at the door?
Just the door.
Just the door.
It's $5 to enter, and anyone who comes gets a copy of the CD.
You
for
can't
that
go wrong
$5.
there.
We made it as user-friendly as we could,
That couldn't be any more user-friendly. Absolutely. So I would imagine, because I have definitely heard of you guys. I mean, I had seen your your name on marquees back when you were doing, all those bars in the area. So I definitely have heard of the band, and I would imagine, based on that circuit, that's going to be a big show. You guys are going to draw very well there.
I think it's going to be a really big show, to tell you the truth, which is good.
Yeah, you guys psyched about it, I guess.
Very much so. It's all we've been talking about.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
a lot of
we've been
rehearsing
ready.
going on to get ready for it, or
Yeah.
Yep.
Always.
Yeah, we're ready to go.
always
We're ready.
rehearsing?
We're ready
Yeah.
to go. We're ready.
How often do you guys rehearse?
Once a week.
Once a week religiously, regardless of whether there's a gig in the works or not.
Sometimes we'll throw an extra one in. We might Saturday we might come in early and run a couple songs just to get warmed up before the show. We do that sometimes.
That's a good
too,
idea.
just to get loose. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But otherwise, it's pretty much Wednesdays.
It's Wednesday night.
You know, occasionally somebody gets the flu, and other than that, it's Wednesday night.
So I would imagine over the last couple of weeks, the rehearsals have gotten much more, I don't want to say intense, but for lack of a better word, I mean, I would imagine that you're rehearsing your set for Saturday night, right?
Yeah.
It's more focused.
Absolutely, yeah.
More focused,
Yeah,
yeah.
we didn't take one break last week, right? We
No.
just kept playing song after song after song after song.
Yeah. Now, will you be doing one long set there? Will you be doing two sets? How's that going to work
We're
out?
planning on one long set.
One long set, yeah.
Okay. Are you playing with anybody else that night?
Just us. And it's a matinee. It's afternoon.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2
Yeah.
o'clock.
Nice. Now, why is it a matinee?
We wanted to set up something that everybody could go to. It's looking like it's going to be in all ages, too. So there'll
Which
be
is even
younger
better.
guys. It's even better, which means afternoon. We actually asked him about doing an evening. He didn't have too many evenings open.
No.
So we opted to go with the matinee. Figured that was the best way to do it.
You know, that's a really good idea now that I think about it, because it's like, good way, Saturday afternoon, hey, let's go rock,
Yep.
you know? And then I imagine there'll be a big old after party somewhere.
Of
Of
course.
course there will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will that land up at Jethro's? Because that's where the parties always seem to end. It is now. Hey, Jeff, party at your house after the gig, okay?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock at Jeff's house in Dunellen. No, we won't give out his address. Fucking freaks will be showing up. Hey, party!
Yep.
It's like, no party.
It's going to be a long night.
Looking
that
for
I can
George?
promise you. It's going to be
Yeah.
a long night.
Well, good. And I just may make it.
that'd
I'm
be great.
certainly going to try. I'm certain. Now that I know that it's a matinee, it makes it even easier for me, to try to get out there. But I definitely want to try to make it. The name of the album being called the last. Help me.
Broadcast.
The last
The
broadcast.
last broadcast. Where did that come from?
It's one of the tunes on the title track, The Last Broadcast, is a song that Carlos sings. I'm old-fashioned with albums, so I like having a title track. And everybody seems behind the idea. Last full length we did had a title track, same thing. So I always like having a title track. When we wrote the song, it's actually a couple years old, this song. When we wrote the song, I thought to myself, this is the title track for an album, definitely. And the original idea was it's got to be a title track for, of course, the last album. But since it's on this one, it's the title track for this album.
And actually, the longest song on the album comes in at 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yes.
Which takes me back to when we were talking about Armor being the lead-off track, less than 3 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
You know, which I think is a good idea, and I think that goes back to what we were talking about, before with how we were all, we all came up with the album and, grew up with the album and all that sort of thing. Is, to me, songs should be between 3 and 5 minutes, for me personally. I'm not into these, 10-minute long, jams that go on and on.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell. I like a longer song if there's a good reason for it.
True.
If it's just noodling,
Yeah, if it's just whooshy
No.
noises for the first minute and a half,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't always need that.
Yeah, well, I'm one of those don't bore us, get to the chorus, loud, hard, fast, bam.
Yeah.
Let's get to it, So why don't we do that track? Why don't we do the last broadcast, which, again, is the title track and the last song on the album. Let's play that right now. Once again, we are in the studio with Little Dipper from Dunellen, New Jersey, playing a album release party this Saturday, matinee, 2 o'clock at Roxy and Duke's in beautiful Dunellen, New Jersey. You can get there from anywhere, so if you're in New Jersey, all roads lead to Dunellen. And all roads lead out of Dunellen, too. So, all right, here we go. The last broadcast.
Behind
answers to a lifetime questioned. It's a final approach, so please be aware that if you wanna destroy this, it won't take a direct hit. This is the last broadcast that we'll send over again. This is the last broadcast that we'll send over again. This is the last broadcast that we'll send over again. This is the last broadcast that we'll send over again. Are all these efforts wasted on a galaxy that won't respond? Are all these efforts wasted on a galaxy that won't respond? A galaxy that won't respond. A galaxy that won't respond. A galaxy that won't.
All right, we were talking during that last song about how much work goes in to actually putting an album together, keeping a band together. Paz, you brought up a real good point that I firmly believe in, that it's all about passion and
Absolutely.
love. You know, I don't want to get too personal here, but I'm going to go for it anyway. You said, look, man, this saved my life.
Absolutely.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
You know, just doing bad things when you're a kid, man. And my mom bought me this drum set, and I played and loved it, and I'm still playing now. I guess 25 years, 30 years, and I hooked up with these guys. I got unity from it. You know, sports you can only do for so long. Just playing, the unity and the passion and the heart and everything you get out of it. You get so much out of it. And, you know, just this lets my aggression out, that's all. This is the only time when I'm playing is I can let everything go, work, anything that's bothering me, and just concentrate. And it's you behind there. It's a part of you.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You're
Right.
showing your personality through the instrument. or whatever. But it's the only time that I can forget about everything and wash all the bad vibes out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. When I'm doing my show, same way. I am so zoned in to what I'm doing. And, there's days, like people think, oh, you have this great life. And it's like, well, I have a good life, but, I got bullshit like everybody else.
Absolutely. Everybody's got something.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's days I sit down and go, oh, I don't feel like doing the fucking show. And once I get into it, I'm so happy that I did it.
Exactly.
And I wake up the next day with a show recorded, and I'm like, I feel so good about it.
Washes the troubles away, man.
Yeah,
When you're
it
passionate
really
about
does.
something,
Well,
it fulfills you. That's all.
playing music gives you a presence of mind that you don't get from a lot of things.
Yeah, I agree. And music goes back to, caveman era,
Oh, yeah.
and music is such the universal language, and you ever hear that expression, it calms the savage beast,
Yeah.
which I have seen firsthand. I've been DJing for many, many years, and I used to do karaoke when it first came out. And I would see the biggest, toughest guys come up there. And as soon as they had that mic, it was like, it calmed the savage beast.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It was so interesting to see. It was like, there's some big, tough guy, and you give him a microphone, and then all of a sudden, he's just like...
Oh, yeah. It's an escape from everything.
Yeah. Now, Mike, you were saying, we were talking a little bit about the amount of work that goes into recording and keeping a band together and that sort of thing. Tell me a little bit about what you were saying during that song about when you're recording and when you're trying to lay tracks down and that sort of thing.
It's countless hours. I couldn't even come close to telling you how many hours we all put into doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Every step, people don't realize all the steps
Yeah.
that go into it.
Yeah.
They think you write the song and all of a sudden it's magically
Right.
there, and
Just
that's
like
not
that.
it. That's
Yeah.
the first step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, by the time you finish this CD, I hated this CD by the time we were finishing it. Now, looking back, I'm really proud of it. I'm really happy about it. I think we all are, really. But, man, by the time just before it was done, I was just ready to pull my hair out and go running out the door.
And you got a lot of hair, too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
plus a
Still
big
got
old
it.
beard. So, yeah,
That's
that would have
right.
been...
Big
yeah.
fan of hair over here.
Yeah, well, I hear that.
Don't want to lose it.
That's the thing they don't tell you about engineering is you listen to the same 30-second snippet of music
Over
over and
and
over
over.
again,
Right.
200 times.
Over and over.
Right,
Yeah,
you do.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Same 3 notes sometimes.
Yeah, and people don't get that. They don't get that at all. How much work goes into it, and and same thing with playing. And especially like if you're on the road touring. I mean, that is no easy feat.
Everybody thinks it's magic. It's not. It's hard
Yeah, they
work.
think it's one big fucking
Yeah.
party.
No, it's hard work.
And it's as cliche as it is. When you hear bands go, that hour that we're up on stage is great and the rest of it sucks. It's really true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
A lot of downtime.
a lot of hurry up and wait, a lot of travel time, no sleep, shitty food,
Yeah.
you
If you don't have the money to have everybody do everything for you and to travel in luxury, like Led Zeppelin, they had a great time. Everybody else,
yeah,
it's uncomfortable.
it's work. And I see bands and know of bands that are popular bands, name bands, and I see the places they're playing, and I've been to these places because I've done a lot of roadie work, and I've been in these places, and I'm like, wow, even at their level, they're still humping it in a van up to some club in New Hampshire.
Absolutely.
Or, down in South Carolina, or, down in, Virginia. I mean, I've been all up and down the East Coast with that. And it's a lot of work that goes into it,
No shame sleeping in a car.
No.
No shame sleeping in a car.
Not at all. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Or, or checking into a hotel, getting a day room so everybody can grab a shower and then
Absolutely.
and then moving on,
We were talking about one time about towing a camper and staying at campsites.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I still like this idea. I still might use that idea someday.
Yeah.
It's the cheapest.
Yeah, $10
It's
a
all
day for
about the
site.
love. It's in your heart, man.
Yeah, you got to do it for that first. I
Yeah.
mean, people that get into
Yeah.
it for the money is secondary.
Go be an accountant if you want money.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the truth.
Yeah.
We would have
something
gave
else.
up a long time ago if it weren't for the love of it.
Yeah, I hear that. I definitely hear that. All right, I want to do another track. track called Sea Shanty. And I know, being as you guys are from New Jersey, I'm like, well, I'm from New Jersey and I know I'm a Jersey Shore guy. Is there any tie-in with the beach to that song? What's that song about?
There's not really a tie-in to the beach. It's kind of a more unusual tune. It's really more about Earth and Mars and the idea of finding water on Mars. And the big joke with the song was, Dave was always talking about how it's a little shanty, and we always called it this little sea shanty, and that's what it ended up developing into. Like I said, it all comes from idea, and it really just started with that first riff, and it just went on from there, and it became this big, joke how it was a little shanty. That was the big thing with it.
Yeah,
But there's no real tie to the shore,
I think the comment was that the way the riff kind of goes, it makes you a little seasick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's a little off kilter.
All right, let's give it a spin right now. Sea Shanty by Little Dipper on Rock Hard with Jay Conroy on rockhardradio1.com from New York City.
Transcend the lifeless with the downfall. Each step you're gonna take will move them all. Each navigator will a fine. Stand in line, we'll build the same thing on a different ball. Maybe you're wrong this time. Maybe you're wrong this time. Don't change the road you're on. Don't change your mind. Maybe you're wrong this time. These waves you're making will wake the sand. Someday we need to find a brave new land. So move over and find your new home is where you started. Better take this one or go alone. Maybe you're wrong this time. Maybe you're wrong this time. Don't change the road you're on. Don't change your mind. Maybe you're wrong this time.
All right, Sea Shanty, great guitar sound in your band. Not just on that song, but on all the bands. It's a very cool, just a very cool style of guitars. It's almost like you can identify with the band, like we were talking about AC/DC before. You always know it's AC/DC.
Mm-hmm.
With you guys, I get that same vibe. You know this is Little Dipper.
Good.
Music
You know?
weirdo.
I am
Say
the
again?
Music, I am the music weirdo.
Yeah.
Music weirdo?
Yeah.
What does that
Music
mean?
weirdo.
I take it a little too far with the sounds and this and that. You know.
Well, there's
They
nothing
call me-
wrong with that.
No, there isn't. But I get called music weirdo a lot. So
I'm just a drummer, that's why. I hang out with these guys, that's it.
he hangs out with the music weirdos.
I'm for morale builder.
We spend a lot of time getting those guitar sounds, so it's nice to get the compliment.
Yeah.
So
Good. And I can appreciate that because I'm sure you do. I'm sure you did. And yeah. Because to get that, anybody can play. You can learn how to play guitar. But to get a distinct sound, a sound that's all your own,
Yeah.
that's what it's all about.
it's a footprint. The right guitar sound is like a footprint.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. All right, I want to get to another track that I really, really like off of this album. It's called Heat Lamp. So we're going to play it, talk about it after the song. Here we go.
Cause at first look, you know you got thick skin. When push comes to shove, who's gonna let you win? So when you start to complain, it's just a bit too much. It's a slap on the wrist to dull the sharp on your tongue. You scratch and you beg, only get you this far. But just a little mistake will put you back at the start. You try to tell me I tease, you try to tell me I taunt. But it's about what you need and not about what you want. Sitting under the heat lamp. You're sitting under the heat lamp. Take a look, and lately what have you got? An old stack of books to show you just where you're not. It's a sin and a shame to think I give you so much when all the rules that you break, well, that's where things get rough, and that's when you get struck. Sitting under the heat lamp.
I love that ending. I love the guitars on there, man.
Cool.
I love the rhythm, the way you go into the lead. Great guitar work, man. So I'm guessing that that's one of the songs that you obsessed over with the guitar
That
parts.
ending part of that song with the guitar leads and the keys and stuff like that. Oh, yeah, it was borderline weird how obsessed I became with it. You know.
Yeah, but again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that because
You gotta be.
You gotta
if you
be.
love it,
Right.
You know.
And major bands do that shit in the
course.
studio.
Of course.
You got to get it right. You got to get it perfect. Now that song is called Heat Lamp. What was the inspiration for that song? Where'd you get the title? What can you tell me about that song?
That's the creepy tune because that song is really kind of about abduction, about taking somebody, locking them in a basement and that heat lamp just sitting over the top of them while they're chained up down there. A little bit of the darker side of things. You get that once in a while. So it's supposed to have this kind of creepy vibe to the whole thing.
Interesting because as we record this, it's the 1 year anniversary of that kooky fuck that held those girls hostage in Cleveland.
Oh, yeah.
And one of them just did an interview last night on CNN and, was talking about it and just very bizarre, of what this fucking guy did to these girls.
It's amazing how sick some people are.
Yeah. Blow away. And, I give her all the credit in the world for recovering, like she has, So, I mean, you brought about, you talked about, in the basement, which I know it's just a song, but, you don't have anybody tied up in your basement.
No. I don't even have a basement, man.
You don't
I got
even
a
have
crawl
a
space.
basement.
I got a crawl space. It's all bullshit.
That's
the whole
where you-
song's bullshit, man.
Yeah. Well, so you keep them in the crawl space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 or 3 people.
Yeah, well, that's not bad. We're
that-
kidding.
That was one of the first more weird songs that we did, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I thought-
that was the
I think-
start of some of the weirder stuff. I think a lot of times with music and art in general, it's kind of a way to explore that kind of stuff and wonder what the hell it's all about. You read the newspaper about all these, or on the internet or wherever, about a lot of crazy people out there. You got to wonder what's wrong.
Yeah, it really is, and especially when you hear some of these stories and you're like, "Oh my God, you get it." It's like you can't even comprehend it. It's just that bizarre. It's just that bizarre. So now, what is next for you guys? You guys seem very happy, very content, playing your music, going out, doing your gigs. What are your future plans? Do you have future plans for Little Dipper?
After we do the CD release party, the next step is videos. We did a video for one track on this tune, the first tune, Armor, first one you played. And we want to make a couple more videos and get them out there because video is a huge, a part. Look at everybody, YouTube.
Sure.
Huge. I lose hours on YouTube.
Yeah, you and me both.
Like
I
you
spent
can't
a
imagine.
lot of time on there.
I go on there to look up a song or how to, make a cookie, and next thing I know, it's 3 hours later, and
Right.
I'm watching Loverboy videos from 1986.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what happens. I do the same thing. One thing leads you to the next thing,
Oh.
to the next thing, and next thing you know, you're
lose
like
a day
so
on there.
lost in there.
Yeah, I get real lost in the cartoons.
Do you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All kinds of crazy underground cartoons. Love them. Dr. Tran, Leo and Satan.
Yeah, there's
All those
like
ones.
pretty much anything and everything you could possibly
Anything you
want
think
on,
of,
on YouTube, I mean, me personally, I get lost. I watch a lot of concert footage on there
Yeah.
that you normally don't get to hear. Even if the quality is shitty, it's like you can still get a vibe for
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
what went on and what went down. So I'll take the shitty quality just to,
It's amazing how many versions you find of one song.
Yeah.
45 live concerts, ones with just lyrics, videos.
Right.
It's crazy.
right.
Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have a very, very cool logo, which people will see on the Facebook event page for this show. They will get to see it, but I really love the logo. You got to see it, and it's just LD in a circle. Who came up with this logo? How did you guys? Who did the artwork? How did that come about?
I came downstairs with the idea that I wanted this L and a D with a circle around it kind of thing. And
So you already knew.
Yeah, I kind of knew going in. what I wanted, the idea, and I came in and I kept drawing this L&D in a circle, and I can't draw worth a shit. And I kept doing it, and so finally what ended up happening is, although I couldn't get it across, I got my girlfriend, who's an artist, Brigitte Kahn, to design this thing. And it was this big L&D in a circle and nice and simple, and I brought it down to these guys, and Dave just comes up and goes, it's got to be blue. I don't know what it was.
Yeah,
so you gotta ask
awesome
him.
blue. Just looks good. It reminds me of the old, Deep Purple, what's that, the DP, I forget what
Yeah,
the
it
1980
does.
album, but blue
Perfect
on
Strangers.
black is
Yes,
is
Perfect
your
Strangers. Yeah.
The blue on the black is awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, it does look
It's
good.
simple.
Yeah, we
You know
wanted
what
a
I mean?
simple
You want
design.
just simple.
And,
Yep.
right.
So-
And I think a logo is key. I think a band has to have a logo. I think it gives the band identity, and it certainly, catches your eye, because, you see this, and okay, and then the next time you see it, you go, oh, I've seen this before.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what it's all
Exactly.
about. And I think you guys really, really struck with that.
Got to
you
be
know?
simple enough that you can draw it.
Yeah.
Less is more. It's the truth. Less
I
is
agree.
more.
I totally agree. All right, once again, I want to remind everybody to come down this Saturday to Roxy and Duke's in Dunellen, New Jersey. Real easy to get to. Afternoon gig. Have a good old time. And I know with these guys, because I know friends of their friends, and this party is going to go on probably till early Sunday morning, I would imagine. Until everybody passes out. And then it'll probably pick up Sunday afternoon with a barbecue. I'm just guessing.
Absolutely.
Barbecue
So,
it is.
You nailed it.
Yeah. All right. I want to do another track before we wrap it up. A song called "The Abyss." What can you tell me about that song?
Carlos does the lyrics. He sings on that song. So
Oh, good. So we're finally getting a Carlos song.
Well,
here.
Carlos does that one, the last broadcast, which we played before. Mm-hmm. So I can't exactly tell you what it's about. He's kind of quiet, so I'm not sure if he would tell you if he were here.
Interesting. But he wrote it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess it's a good thing he's not here. Carlos, we love you. We miss you, but
We do miss you.
if he wasn't going to tell us what it was about, then,
we're
so yeah. So all right, let's play it.
It's spelled out by a signaling of dials, one's pointing up, the other to the right. Long time ago, we made plans on the phone. We made plans on a train that's moving to the wrong side of this town we both call home. Take one step off to the abyss. This lingers on. You're the last one I'll miss. You're just a blip on a radar screen, flying too low, avoiding all the trees. Come back. strong wind could rattle every last conviction. This lingers on. It's the last time I'll misinterpret your intentions. So move along. Move on my hesitation. Take it in stride. I'm sinking inside. Move on my hesitation. Take it in stride. I'm sinking inside. Move on my hesitation. This feeling's gone. Won't be long until we find ourselves discovered. This feeling's gone. Won't be long. Break it down with one another.
All right, The Abyss, Little Dipper, I want to thank you guys so much for coming in and doing this. Once again, this Saturday at Roxy and Duke's Little Dipper record release party for their latest album called, guys,
Last broadcast.
Last Broadcast. Once again, Tiny, what's your real name? We got to get you your
Tony.
Tony what?
Kroposky.
All right, we want to get you, your real name. The guy's on the fucking radio, and we don't want to just call him Tiny. We want to get his, his name out there.
Professionally, I go by Anthony Kroposky.
It's much more professional.
It's a cast of characters over here, man. What can I tell you?
Yeah. And Mike Nagy.
Mike Nagy, you got it.
Mike Nagy, okay. And Paz.
Yep. David Paluzny.
No wonder you go by Paz.
No doubt.
It's easy.
No doubt.
So I want to thank you guys for coming in. If you want to get this CD, I know it's available. Give me some information. You can get it on CD Baby, but tell my listeners how you can get your music.
cdbaby.com, iTunes, Amazon.com.
Okay.
If you want, you can go right to our website, littledipper.us. You can get it right off of there if you want.
Okay, so there it is.
Or see one of us in person.
Yeah, or come
Yeah.
to the show on Saturday. You get a free copy.
Even better. So once again, make it to the show. I am going to do my best to make it to the show. So if nothing else, you could come there. You could fucking meet me. How's that, okay?
There you go.
There you go.
Good guy.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right, guys, thank you so much. I wish you the best of luck with the album. I know it's going to be a great gig on this Saturday. I can see you put a lot of work into the album, but it paid off. It's a kick-ass fucking album. I wish you nothing but the best. And again, thank you very much for coming in. Little Dipper, everybody from New Jersey, give it up.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you for having us, man.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
us.
All right, my pleasure. You guys have been listening to Rock Hard with Jay Conroy on rockhard radio1.com from New York City.